folks. So, I promised y'all downward dog, right? Because I've been slacking. I took a test the other day and I've been working, so I didn't get a chance to do a video. But I promised y'all today. So, if y'all saw my last post that I posted, I talked about some of the foundational poses of yoga. And the reason I picked those foundational ones is because they use all of your body. They are going to make you think about your poses. They're going to make you have good form. They're going to make you a strong person. These poses use every muscle in your body. Today we're going to talk about downward dog. Mainly because I love downward dog and it's a great transitional pose, and you're going to see it a lot in all of our poses. All the foundation poses that we'll be doing are ones that will be in almost every flow you do, especially for strength, stability, balance, all of those. So we will walk through exactly the right and wrong way to do downward dog, because we talked about possible injuries in yoga, which are your wrists, and downward dog is very, very rough on your wrists. So if you have any type of wrist inflammation, I would suggest either not doing downward dog or doing a modification of downward dog, or wearing a wristband if you need to. And that's only because you don't want to injure yourself or hurt yourself any more than what they're already hurt. Sometimes my wrists get a little sore, but the more that you do yoga, the stronger you're gonna get with your wrist, unless you have a degenerative issue or another issue. And then you work through that by modifications. So yesterday, day before yesterday, we talked about my warm-up. I love that warm-up. It's the warm-up that I always do. It's my go-to warm-up. I love getting my spine stretched and getting myself ready. And it helps with my breathing. And it kind of just gets me into the mind space. As you noticed, my shirt is tucked in, so we ended in what I call a tabletop. Remember? So we did our, and then we ended in tabletop. So this is where we're going to transition to our flows. This is where we're going to start doing a vinyasa or a hatha or our power yoga or one of our flows that we plan on doing. So usually after I'll do that, I'm in a perfect position to start with, but I'll stretch out and do something called child's pose and balasana. And that's just me getting myself right back in that headspace after that. So to do balasana, you just put your big toes together, spread your knees wide, and come back. I usually have my contacts in. So I take a few deep breaths here. Getting ready for downward dog. So now I'm ready to come out of balasana. I'm ready to come out of balasana, and I'm going to start into my downward dog. And we remember whenever we talked about our joints, we want them all stacked together. So we want our wrists, our elbow, and our shoulder all stacked together. We don't want our elbows over our wrists. We don't want our shoulders over our elbows. So when we did tabletop, remember we came into tabletop, we're shoulder width apart and our knees are hip width apart for tabletop. For downward dog, you are going to put your hands at a 90-degree angle and you're going to have your thumbs facing forward. You want to feel that external rotation of your shoulders and of your shoulder blades. You then want to get your toes, curl them under. You curl your toes under. I'm going to go just a little wider for me. I need a wider mat. And all you do now is the easiest thing in the world. Got your toes down. Lift your sits bones up. Remember, you don't want to hyperextend anything. You don't want anything to hurt. You don't want your wrists to hurt. Your thumbs need to be facing forward. You need to have a neutral spine. And just relax. You want to relax your neck, and you kind of want them in between your biceps. You don't want to be way back here to hyperextend. You don't want to be way up here, up over everything, because then you don't have a neutral spine. So you just kind of want your spine neutral. And you can always adjust, readjust how you feel. No pain. So how's that spine look? Is it neutral? I took off my glasses so I can't see. So there's a lot of modifications to this. So say you can't put your feet on the ground because you have really tight hamstrings and they hurt really, really bad. Bend your knees. You can bend your knees, get up on your tippy toes. So that should take some of the stress off your hamstrings, off your calves. And then, like I said, readjust how you feel you need to. Especially if you're going to do it like that. And like we were talking about, downward dog is your transition piece. We're going to be doing lots of transitions. So remember, you want your hands at a 90-degree angle. You want your thumbs facing forward. Your hands can be wider apart as well. Usually hip width for your hands are also good, which I like, but it makes me uneven on this mat. And you want your head just to be relaxed. And you want that spine neutral. So you see how my spine is neutral with my head laying down. It's not, even with my knees bent, my spine is still neutral. So, that's fine. So, to come out of downward dog, super easy. Bend your knees. My favorite thing to do, if it's just a transition piece, or not a transition piece, just a stretch, I will go back into my wide child Balasana pose for a second. Get a little stretch in. Come back up. Or if my downward dog is going to be part of a flow, I'm going to do whatever the flow is. So say I want to go into a pigeon. I'm going to bring my knee up. And I'm going to transition into my pigeon. Say say I'm doing a whole fun downward dog sequence. And I'm going to tell y'all, I want y'all to walk your dog. So we're going to walk the dog. Or I want y'all to come up and bring a leg up. You can rotate out, you can rotate in. Or say I want you to just bring it forward. So, that's downward dog. Downward dog, super fun, easy to do. It is kind of hard sometimes on your elbows, and it is hard on your wrists. So it's not something that we're going to stay in constantly. Like I said, downward dog is a transition pose. You're going to see it in a lot of your sun salutations. You're going to see it in a lot of flows. Like I said, it activates your whole body. It activates your glutes. You want to pull in your tummy. You want to put your sits bones up nice and high. So that's what you want. You definitely don't want to do downward dog with bad form. So whenever I was talking earlier, I don't know if you can see it from this side, but I'll do it from this way. This is what your arms should look like. You want external rotation. See? That makes sure and hip width apart is what is best. So you want thumbs facing forward, curl the toes under, and you just come up. And this is what it looks like from the front. Scapulas and shoulders are externally rotated. Head is nice and relaxed. You have a neutral spine. You're going to breathe. This is where you're just going to think about your breathing. So what you definitely don't want to do, and oh, the other thing is bend your legs. As you can see, bending my knees still creates a nice neutral spine. What we don't want is this. We don't want a crazy swoopy back. We don't want it wide. We don't want, oh, see, that was already hurting my hand. Just doing regular wide form. We don't want you to push your head all the way back. We want your ears right even with your biceps. And we want it nice and loose. You don't want any tension there. And like I said, easy to come out of. You just drop your knees and come down. Our foundational poses that I posted. I said downward dog is great. You're gonna love it. Master it. You guys practice it. Send me your videos. Send me pictures of you doing downward dog. I want to see you do it. I want to see you doing some downward dog. I want to see some of your modifications that you need to do. I want to see you have some fun with downward dog. So start giving me some shout outs with that. I want to see what you're doing. I want us to have some fun. That's all we're going to do for today is downward dog. I want you to master this pose. I want you to practice this pose. And then we will go to our next pose. And we will do that tomorrow. I do work tomorrow. So hopefully I will get to you. It is a 24-hour shift. So hopefully I'll get to you. If not, I promise our next one will be on Monday. And more than likely we will start talking about our upward dog. Since we did downward dog, we'll do upward dog. These foundational poses, like, I don't know if I've iterated enough about how they can make you feel. Like I said, downward dog, you can also use as a resting pose. It's my resting pose. Whenever I get tired, I'm like, I'm just gonna be in downward dog for a minute. They will make you stronger. They make you use everything of your body. They make you feel your body. They make you engage your muscles. But they also make you emotional. They'll help with any emotional release you need, especially if you hold it long enough, or if you have something on your mind, or if something's going on. It'll definitely cause an emotional, especially if you're struggling with it. When I first started yoga, I struggled a lot, and I still struggle a lot. I'm not one of those instructors that you see on Instagram that can do crazy inversions with their bodies contorted in a lot of crazy positions. You're not going to see that from me. You will see me use my blocks. You will see me use my straps because there's some positions that I still can't get into without using my straps. And that's okay. Yoga is your journey. Yoga is your own journey. This is my journey. There is something that we call the 8 limbs of yoga, which I just kind of want to touch on for just a moment. And the reason why I want to touch on the 8 limbs of yoga is because when we come to find yoga, we are finding the 3rd limb of yoga, which is the poses. You have 2 other limbs of yoga called your yamas and your niyamas. And these are your personal beliefs, and we'll get into more of that later. But a lot of it is about your ego. You know, yoga for me is a very relaxing, calming, peaceful thing for me to do. And I can't wait for us to do some flows. But I do want to wait for us to do some foundational poses and get those down, get our form good, and then we're gonna kick it up. And our first flow is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be so much fun. And I want videos of y'all doing it and sending them to me too. So, with all that being said, if you have any questions about downward dog, please send me a private DM, message me here on the page. I think my phone number is even on there. If you want to call that, if you want to text message me a text, go ahead and text it. I'm totally here for you guys. I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope y'all are too.